So I know I did recently make a pull plan video already, but since 3.7 is so stacked, I honestly wanted to make another one talking about my own personal plans for this entire update. This is probably the most insane patch we've gotten, honestly, besides the one we had when Finon came out, because Finon had what? It was like Sparkle, Sunday, and Trippy, and this one is, not even arguably, it is much, much more worse than that. So yeah, let's just jump straight in. So as we know, the whole banner format is going to be 6 reruns in the patch and 1 constant banner throughout the entire update. So Cyrene is going to be active throughout the entire update rather than just leaving when phase 2 starts. She is just going to be the active banner throughout the entire update. The first half is rerunning Castris, Hyacine, and also Tribby. So, like, the entire team and the entire, like, God mode characters in the first half. The second half reruns Finon, Cypher, and also Mayday. Mayday was the one that's gone the longest without a rerun. Finon and Cypher obviously have not gotten the rerun yet, so Mayday being the last Chrysos heir to finally get his rerun. So now every Chrysos heir has actually gotten a rerun. Aglia got one like a patch before this, and then Anaxa finally got his that is active right now as I'm uploading this video with Donhang. And now all the ones that haven't gotten it, and also Castris was the one that hasn't got a rerun yet either, and also Hyacine, so all of them are finally getting the rerun. So out of these characters, I am only obviously going to be missing Cyrene because she's a new character, so I won't have her. And then when it comes to the characters rerunning that I do not have, the only one I don't have is Hyacine. Everyone else I do own with their light cone. The only ones that are E0 out of the entire batch is Mayday and Castris. Everyone else is actually E2, so Tribby, Finon, and Cypher. So just to kick it off with that, I'm actually going to talk about the second phase before anything because it is easier because I do have Finon and Cypher E2 already. I do not think I'm going to touch that banner at all, or their banners respectively, just because, you know, E2 is the greatest stopping point for them. Cypher was E1, but I went for E2 because I'm kind of stupid. So yeah, I really don't think I'm going to go past the goals that I already do have them right now, and I have the light cone, they're all built, they're ready to go. So they are relatively complete. Mayday, on the other hand, I have actually wanted to get his E1. I kind of regretted not getting it, and I was like, I'm going to guaranteed get it on his rerun, but that want has slowly died down as I've used him less and less, because honestly, he's not really like one of my most fun characters I have to use. He's not like very, very boring. Like, I don't find him super, super boring as like running Castris on a team without Evernight and also without Hyacine. If I get the chances to use them, I will. I've used them recently, and especially with the Ceredra interactions, and also Cyrene being actually practically one of his best in slots in a lot of cases. I kind of am tempted to go for it, but I definitely do think if I were to put it on like a tier, it would be on the lowest priority list out of the entire 3.7 update. So it's more of a I might throw some summons at it and see what happens kind of tier. So it's going to be the lowest and all that. So like the most bottom tier is obviously the ones I'm skipping, and that's going to be Tribby, Cypher, and Finon, as they're all E2 S1. They are complete and ready to go. Now the tier above that, that's going to be obviously the one below the utmost priority. So I'm going to have 3 tiers in this video technically being talked about. Not counting the 4th one because that's 4 skips. So yeah, I guess technically 4 tiers. 4th one is complete skip. 3rd one is Mayday for his E1, maybe potentially going for that with spare summons, and then the 2nd one. The ones that go into this list are honestly both Castris and Cyrene. Castris would be just to try to work towards the E2 because I like Castris enough to actually go ahead and try to E2 her. Cyrene, and I don't really gotta elaborate on this, you guys probably understand why I'm not 100% set on getting her. She's only really going to be an upgrade in the Remembrance teams. Outside of that, she's not really going to be too much for me, and if I do want her to get to that point where she actually would be a noticeable upgrade, quote-unquote noticeable, mainly just a tribute free-up slot, would be getting E2, so I'd have to commit to pulling 3 of her, plus probably a light cone, just to, you know, have a light cone on her. That's kind of the problem. So with Castris, it's like, it would be something I can also throw summons on. I might alternate between them after I get my main goal, which I'm going to talk about after this. But yeah, Cyrene, just her only being on that team, so she'd mainly just be to get my Evernight to squeeze out more damage than she already can. Because if I do get her and I don't have to run Tribute with Evernight anymore, I can get the full Evernight Memo Sprite buff because it would be Cyrene, Evernight, Hyacine, and also RMC. So I can actually get the full buff there from Evernight herself. On the flip side though, because my Evernight is so invested in already and is insanely strong, Cyrene's animations are going to be a straight up downgrade to the team, not because of damage, but because of how goddamn long they are. For my own testing, I honestly got so tired of testing just because her animations are so damn long. Like, I'm so tired of them. So her mainly also just having super, super long animations, and then her not really being the upgrade outside of teams, and if I wanted her to try to compete with Tribby at all on other teams, I would have to force myself to pull for E2. That's kind of why she's not like that I will guarantee to pull for tier. And it's kind of something that I might do after I get my original goal. So I think what I'm going to do is go for my original goal, and then the spare summons I have after that, or anything I get through the update, would go to these characters being Castress and Cyrene. How will I do that? I don't know. I think the way I might do it is try to throw a bit on Castress and then switch up and throw a bit on Cyrene. I'm not exactly sure on how I want to go about it, because getting E2 Castress would be an insane jump. Getting Cyrene could be a good jump for that team, but again, we'll see. I'm not exactly sure how I want to go about that just yet. I'm leaning on more committing to the Cyrene side just to get, like, you know, a shiny new unit to use. Maybe new synergies will be discovered to make her better than we expect. You know, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's the kind of split that I have after my 100% dead set goal. And of course, the top one is going to be none other than Hyacinth. Also completely unrelated, I went to go grab a drink before I continue this segment, and I found strawberry milk, guys. Oh my god, W strawberry milk. Comment down strawberry milk W or W strawberry milk, one of the two. Anyways, let's get back into it. But yes, I'm going to prioritize Hyacinth, her Lycone, and also E1. Hyacinth is a character I did definitely want to pull, I just didn't, and I really don't know why. It was mainly her being a sustain. I knew she did really good damage, and technically wasn't a sustain in that sense, just being a sustain. But I did so many sustainless runs anyways, to the point that I really just didn't think I needed her. Honestly, I still don't. I could very much just skip her and be very much well off. I can still zero cycle all that content and stuff, but you know me, want to get the best results. And it's not like she falls into the long animations issue as someone like Cyrene would. Her animations are very, very quick. And she would also go on my Evernight team, making her stronger than she already is. Granting her more Memoria stacks, filling in that slot as a actual Memosprite character to increase the buff, and funny little eco numbers, so that's going to be another W. Her Lycone enabling that HP drain is going to be great. I'm also going to run Blade a lot with her just to mess around, because, you know, Blade is really fun. And then her E1 massively increases her actual HP buff, which is going to significantly increase these HP scalers damage. So Blade's damage is going to skyrocket, Evernight's damage is going to skyrocket. I'm pretty sure when I was testing it, my Evernight reached like 11 or 12k HP in battle. It's actually insane. And she works better than running a sustainless setup. When I ran a sustainless setup, I did less damage than running an E1 Hyacinth, because she practically is the buffer in that sense with that HP buff alone. And again, of course, granting more Memoria stacks. And she's also just going to be able to be a general support I can put on any team just to make older units clear when I want to have fun. Running the whole, you know, wheelchair comp and such like that, pretty much. So Hyacinth E1 S1 is definitely something I want to go. Honestly, I'm not going to lie with you guys. I kind of also want to go for E2. I'd be much more committed to her E2 because it's something that I could fail on and decide I'll just stick with E1 S1. But just because that speed buff is insanely good. It's great outside of her teams because anyone can benefit from the speed for the most part. So any team I do throw on, I can potentially reach crazy speed breakpoints like 200 plus speed on my DPS. It would help Evernight reach those higher 200 plus speed breakpoints as well for more fun. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. If you honestly have an E2 Hyacinth, please honestly go ahead and comment down below and try to convince me to be more committed to that E2. I really want to go for it, but I'm still iffy because, you know, a lot more summons. But hey, if you have compelling arguments for that E2, honestly, go right ahead. The more reasons I have, the better. This is actually a time where I'm like fighting to go for an E2, but I actually more want to than don't, but we'll see. But yeah, the funny speed stuff you can do for there. And plus, it's also going to increase her damage because, you know, plus 200 speed or whatever speed above 200 is going to increase her healing. And that would mean mortality. And then the mortality, the more damage you can do and such, it's going to be pretty good. So honestly, I'm very set to the E1 S1. That's going to be priority. The moment the update drops, I'm going to go ahead and pull for Hyacinth over anything else. I'm going to buy the 3 packs I'll do to get the full spending bonus stuff. And immediately go into Hyacinth's banner. I do have really high pity right now. I have like 55 light cone and 65 character, or 66 or 67 even. So potentially could actually be good. And within those packs, I can probably score E1 S1 or even E2 S1 if I'm lucky. Worst case would be E0. We'll see. I really hope that doesn't happen and I get lucky. And honestly, if I get the E1 S1 and I have a lot of summons spared over and I convince myself enough by getting really lucky, I'll probably go for E2 before the other goals, honestly. I don't know. But again, if you have reasons to pull for that E2, definitely comment down below. So that is my summon plans. The first and the utmost one is going to be E1 S1 Hyacinth and maybe even E2 as I mentioned. Below that would be Castress E2 and or Cyrene E2. Or not E2, but just Cyrene in general. But since she is just like throughout the entire update, I might wait till the second half and just throw summons on her then. Below that would be Mide E1 because as much as I like him as a character, I don't use him too much and I don't think E1 might be like a crazy thing to make me use him more. Even though it does make him compete a lot more. And then below that would be the skip categories, where I will not throw a single pull on, being Tribby, Cypher, Finon, as they're already E2S1 and completed. But that is my summon plans for 3.7. Comment down below your summon plans if you're also going crazy, or if you're just pulling for 1, or if you're somehow even skipping the patch. Maybe you're saving for 4.x, as that's only about 2 patches away. If you found this video enjoyable, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all the types of style content. And I'll see you later. Peace out.